Oh, thank you so much. Now, I have a suggestion to make, and I suggest we all decamp back to my place, which isn't very far from here, because the kettle is always on, and we always have scones available, and there's nothing I like better, that's my conservatory, or ours, there's nothing I like better than sharing afternoon tea with lovely people. You qualify. Are you up for it? Come on. I've been brought up to enjoy the rituals and the treat that is afternoon tea. I think it shows. And I've brought our children up that way as well. And every year when they were growing up, we would go to one of the London hotels and have a special treat. And we've loved it all our lives. But something's happened along the way. And I've come to believe that afternoon tea could save the world. I don't quite mean more scones, Mr. Putin, would you? I wish it was that easy. Yeah, talk's over, it's done, I've proved my case. Not quite that easy. Let's have a look here. Yum, yum, yum. However, I'd like you to look past the delicious carbohydrates. And there's a young man the other side, it's actually one of ours, it's our George. Hello, George. You're still looking at the cakes, aren't you? Get past the cakes, because actually afternoon tea is even more about the camaraderie and the opportunity that it presents to link with people and to build what we've been hearing about today, those interpersonal skills. It's actually a marvellous opportunity for rapport building, and it's all about the niceties and passing and after you and those sorts of things. And so I absolutely love that. And this FaceTime opportunity with our youngsters in particular is kind of vital. I'll go on, I think, to explain how vital, but it's very much in decline, the number of families that do spend time kind of in the round. And this is one of the culprits, television. Now, television's great, but 6 out of 10 meals in front of the telly, that's rather a lot. And do you know, 1/3 of the people doing that make no conversation whatsoever because it's their plate and it's their screen and you are dead to them. And that's not such a good thing when we're trying to bring up the children. In fact, 1 in 10 families never dine together at all in the UK. That's a bit of a shocker. I mean, does it matter? Well, actually it does. It's about the non-verbal and verbal skills that the little ones will pick up in that setting. They'll pick up family values for a start. But did you know the little ones, if you read storybooks to them, they will gain, it says, 143 complex words. If you invite them to join you in the family setting and they're there at meal times and it's all right for everybody to join in and listen and converse, they will pick up 1,000 words. So the children that aren't in this setting of being in the round, as it were, with the family, they're missing out on quite a lot. And sadly, the ones that don't get that are twice as likely to be involved in truancy and drugs and doing badly at school and smoking and all the stuff that we don't wish for them as parents, really. So it does have importance. And the interpersonal skills that they get out of not sitting in front of the telly, but in fact sitting with other people, lets them acquire the skill of rapport. And rapport is really a currency of relationships. It's a marvellous thing. I looked for photographs of rapport. This is our other son, Edward. Hello, Edward. I hope he's in rapport. I hope it's not me pinning him down and stopping him moving off from being next to me. But it's incredibly important stuff. Do you know Harvard University, and somebody's coming to speak from Harvard later, Harvard say that 80% of your career achievements are governed by those soft skills that you have. You're so much more likely to get the job because you come across as likeable. You know how to listen and to engage properly with people and look them in the face and all those important things. So it's interesting, 80%, only 20% is the hard stuff, the hard skills. I was a business coach and I did a survey and I asked people, what qualities do you want to see in those you do business with? And out of 88 replies, not one person put cheaper or faster. Nobody put that at all. It was all about trustworthiness, honesty, integrity. It was the soft skills. So bless them, it's terribly important, and it's how we make relationships in families and business. Do you know, I went to Dubai, which was an amazing experience a couple of years ago on business. And I was there for 7 days. And out of those 7 days, do you know how many of them were spent not on business, but in getting to know each other? 6.5. Probably about 6 3/4. The business part only happened in the last 4 hours. It's extraordinary. Now, I've never been to China, but I understand they have a 3-banquet culture, and it takes you that long before you actually sort of sit down and have the business talk, which is perhaps the purpose of you going out there. But I get it, it makes sense. You know, the cucumber sandwich, bless its heart, here it sits. But it's quite representative because in the sharing of these experiences, getting to know each other, comes all sorts of benefits, such as the reduction of prejudice. Do you know that if you've shared food with somebody, you are so much more likely to have no prejudices left at the end? It melts away age and race and socioeconomic status. That all goes. Turns out, bless its heart, the cucumber sandwich is a great leveller. Thank you, little sandwich, for doing what you can. And it turns out that if you've shared sandwiches and tea with somebody, you can't hate them. It is impossible to hate someone you've shared a cucumber sandwich with. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. It is, of course, so much easier to hate people from afar. And of course, that's what happens in the world. So are you getting round to my theory here that afternoon tea could perhaps change the world? There's something else about afternoon tea as well, that the other meals don't have it. Dinner and lunch don't have it. Unless you live somewhere like Cambodia and they do this thing of putting plates of food down on colourful mats and people are invited to share and pass and so on. Well, we don't live there. And here, your dinner plate is probably your dinner plate. If my fork was to creep out across, there might be a, oi, because that's not how we are. But afternoon tea is like that. It's a sharing exercise. Here is my husband. Hello, husband. And afternoon tea is about the pouring and more for you and offering others. And here's an interesting perception versus reality. I say that afternoon tea is a masterclass of restraint. Oh. Because it really is about calibrating and checking and pouring for other people. And of course, you've noticed there's the one strawberry tart left. And you would quite like it, but then those other people might not have had theirs, and so it goes on. And then, no, after you, no, after you. Shall we share it? Oh, all right then. So I say it is about etiquette, and etiquette doesn't necessarily mean is it little finger out or is it little finger in. And those of you who came to the Guinness World Record, it's little finger in, none of that. There's that side of etiquette, but actually what it really means, etiquette, is about consideration. And so I'm all for that. Our afternoon tea experience, it does not have to be the posh stuff. I tell you, we're not really talking about privilege here, because afternoon tea can happen in any setting, and it can be homemade treats. Do you know, I don't even mind if it's a metaphor for afternoon tea. Do you remember poor old Buzz Lightyear as Mrs. Nesbit, was it? And he's got his little hat on. So I don't care if we play tea parties, because in that, the rituals are the same. Let's contrast it to this. That's a bit tragic. 1 in 5 meals eaten in the car. And I get it. We're all mad, frantic, busy. I completely understand. But afternoon tea is a pause of refinement and connectivity, which I absolutely adore. So the afternoon tea brings about the interpersonal skills. Now, I used to be an interpersonal skills coach. And my role was to try and help people get on better, whether it was parents with stroppy teenagers, or whether it was people in business, getting on better, learning how to build up the trust and the rapport. And 4 years ago, I had a bit of an epiphany, and I put together my passion and that, and I now put people together in a different way. And my company creates afternoon tea and puts it into boxes, hamper boxes, and they go out all over the country. And they're gifts, you see. But it turns out that although it's lovely boxes of treats, it's actually hugs in a box. I am effectively sending out hugs to people on behalf of other people, and it's a remarkable thing. It's a charming and enchanting thing for people to receive. Now, it's made me think, what if we could send out these boxes to all the world leaders? I might need help, because that's a lot of sandwiches. In fact, we definitely need help, but you know, would you make some? And you'll make a few, won't you? And between us we could do it. This is that Guinness World Record we were talking about, and 334 of us, so obviously we're going to do better than that, because that's not going to do the whole world if we get together in a grand tea party. But the principle is there. Although I've got another thought. What if I sent a box to Mr. Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian president, with very best wishes from Mr. Netanyahu of Israel? Or vice versa, or perhaps both together. Now, I don't want anybody to get cross with me over this, because I'm not really making light of incredibly serious, heartfelt situations. However, we have tried sanctions globally, and we've tried war. We've really tried war. We've tried all those other things, and we don't seem to be getting on very well with it. There's a global peace index, and they looked at 162 countries. And they give them a weighting system and measurements, and they work out which countries are most in conflict and which ones are least. And out of 162, any guesses as to how many countries are considered not in conflict at the moment? It's slightly more than 2, it's 11. It's 11 out. We're definitely not doing it right, are we? If that's the state of peace in the world. And apparently it's going downwards, and the trend is not likely to change in the short term. Which takes me back to, come on, we've tried that other stuff, and I'm all for voting that afternoon tea needs a chance to heal what's going on out there, because war is greed, really, by another name. So I would like to suggest that we maybe tweak that wonderful Peace One Day initiative. Could we add in green teas one day, or even many days? I think that it's time we let the charm of afternoon tea and the consideration and the etiquette and the manners that all go with it try and save the world, which takes me right back to, would you like jam or cream with yours, Mr. Putin? Go on, have another scone. Go on, because I insist. Thank you.